Welcome to the Creative Marketing Show. My name is Rosh. It is good to have you here. This is going to be a good show talking about value. And I have a lot to talk about actually related to the things that I've been working on to support the community. A slowly growing, nice community. I've been trying to continuously evolve what I have been doing, which is what all of us need to continue to do if we want to be relevant and if we want to find that right combination. This show, it's the Creative Marketing Show, and I focus on, I guess, more and more on the creative side, creative professionals. But, if you are making something, creating something in some way, whether it's with your hands or mentally or whatever it may be, there's a lot of ways to create. And I like to support creative people to grow their business. It is just a passion of mine, and it has been for over 10 years. And that's why I continue to share this show. I'm live every Monday at 4 o'clock around that time, sometimes a little after to give a little room, but I go live so I can answer your questions about these various topics. And this week's is value. So if you have a question, if you catch on the replay, or if you catch on a podcast somewhere or at roshsillars.com, or the new Facebook group that I'm going to talk about in a few moments, or an expansion of, put a comment in there and ask me about ways you may be struggling with developing value to separate yourself from the competition. Or sometimes it's the struggle we feel that people are not seeing our value in what we present in the marketplace and what we can do about that. And that is really a lot of what I'm addressing today, because it really is an important part of the development of our business. We talk about the USC, unique success combination. But, one of the easiest ways to improve our value is to improve our brand. And I've done a number of talks on this in the recent months about live and online, about how if you can increase your brand, the value of the brand, you can increase your prices. People are willing to pay more because they feel there's more value. See, the thing is, when someone pulls out a $20 bill, a check, a credit card or debit card, or paying, with some kind of an app, they're taking a risk. They're taking a big risk. And if you can do the right things to lower that risk, and one is certainly trust and being familiar with you. And that's where that brand conversation comes in. That is a huge, huge part of it. And so if you can work through that and continue to improve that, you're going to find yourself with more and more income and the ability to grow your business. Now, we talk about USC, as I said, that whether it's the combination code, whether it's, again, your unique success combination, whatever it may be, to separate yourself from the competition. Hey, how you doing, Mark? When you take and think about these combinations, then you understand that we're doing this to increase our value. When I say, let's go find our unique success combination, we do that to increase our value. Because when we become unique, and obviously the unique success combination is a combination of many different things, and we talk about the 7-5-3-1. But the idea of the combination code and all these combinations that I keep talking about increases our value in the marketplace. And that is the importance of it. I'm going to go into that a little bit more. But first, I want to talk about the new Facebook group that's coming up. And this is for everyone. This is for those of you who are coming in live on the chat. This is for those of you who catch me on YouTube and the podcast. I made it real easy to get to the Facebook group. And all you have to do is go to Rosh, R-O-S-H, .group. Hey, look at that. Just type rosh.group into your URL, and it'll take you to my Facebook group page. And hey, wait, there is one more part to it. You have to have a code to get in, because I want people who understand this value, this never-ending quest to improve what we are offering to the world. And so if you have any guess what that code could possibly be, it's pretty straightforward. If you've watched any of my videos, it is 7531. I just mentioned it a few moments ago. And if you go to the Facebook group, it'll ask you for that code. Put in 7531. You're in, and I have made a double down effort to improve it. Now, this group has been open for years, and I just took out a whole bunch of people that I don't think really would care much about it. Some of my team members in the past put them in. It has, I think I knocked it down to under 50 people there right now. And this is where I really want to grow the community. I really want to grow the community there, because then I can support you in developing your value, developing your combination. This is where we can interact a little bit better. Obviously, once a week here, darn right, on those of you who come live on YouTube. But I think this is going to be a great place to grow and develop. Is it ever going to be a huge group? Who knows? It depends. It depends on if people out there really care to develop their own success combination and find what it takes to become more valuable in the marketplace with whatever their craft is, whatever their business is. This is what we need to do. Hey, it's Shay. How you doing? Good to see you. So, and Shay, you definitely need to head on over there if you're not in there yet. I don't think you are. I think you need to head on over to Rosh.group 7531, and that's where we're connecting. So it's in Facebook. 7531 is the code to get in. Shay is always somebody I've appreciated, because she connects with me all over the place for years now. I swear it must be darn close to 10 years now. So I always appreciate it when I see her, and all of you. Actually, when you come in, there's some regulars coming in watching the show now live, and I do appreciate that too. But let me jump. I'll jump right into a little bit more here on the topic of the day, because I know that's what I've put up there in the front here, and that is understanding your value and improving your value in business. And again, happy to answer questions along the way. So where can you improve your value? Where are those areas that you can focus on to improve your value? Well, first of all, we talk about customer service, and that's a great place to improve your customer service. And sometimes people think I am not into customer service. I may talk about it, but they all often hear me say, but you can't promote customer service. Customer service can't be the core of your business. It can't be the core marketing part of your business. It needs to be the core, a big core of your business, more so than ever. Every year, customer service becomes more important. Every year, it's more important because people are expecting more and more, because they have so many more choices. And so you have to improve that, but you can't separate yourself from the competition by saying you have the best customer service. Only other people can do that. And that's why we talk about ways in which we can help other people tell other people how awesome we are. So that's the important part. So you can't promote it. Other people can promote your great customer service, but for other people to share that, you have to earn it. And so always improving is part of your combination. Your customer service certainly is a great way to improve your value. The quality of what you create, obviously. Never-ending education. If you have any kind of a business that at all, I mean, whether you're producing a product or delivering a service, you have to continuously educate yourself to improve the experience of that product, or the receiving of, which of course goes back to customer service a little bit, but every point along the way, and the experience of people, and the quality of what it is that you're offering to people. That can never end. That is something that does not end. Now, a big thing I want to talk about, and this is a conversation that we lead back a few weeks ago, I talked about pricing. And I talk a lot on this channel in general about pricing. But we talked about, not taking, when you lower your price, you're also lowering a mental value of who you are. And so if sometimes we need to get a client, to get a job, we need to lower our price. But when you do that, you need to take something away. Because if you are charging $1,000 for something, and then you now say, okay, it's $800, what is it you're giving away? Why couldn't you just charge them $800 in the first place? Take something off the table. It doesn't have to be $200 worth of something, but take something off the table, or add something. If somebody says, I would like more, okay, give them a little bit more, and don't lower your price. Add more value. That's what you do. You're adding more value to that $1,000, because as I mentioned before, it's a risk to hire you. It's a risk to buy from you. And the more you can do to lower that risk, the better off you and your customer will be. When we talk about the combination code, we talk about 7531 and 7 sources of income, 5 people to support you, your support system. It's really important. And a lot of people get confused. So you can only have 5 friends or 5 people in your business. No. These are people outside of the business, that generally outside of the business. Sometimes there's a person within the business, but they have different skills and they support you and you support them. And it's a team effort, and you can acknowledge them as part of that 5, or you don't have to. You can just say, look, these are the 5 people I'm mindfully taking care of because they take care of me. But the 3 is where we get into this value thing more than anything out of the 7-5-3-1. The 1 is channel building, which is always a favorite topic. But the 3 are 3 processes to improve what you do. And those processes can improve your profitability because you've streamlined elements of your business. Processes can maybe allow you to improve what you are offering your customers. So if you improve processes, you can offer more to your customers for the same price, but it doesn't take off your bottom line. So there's a lot to really think about when it gets down to processes. Processes could be the whole customer journey, which again goes to the customer service element. So we think about all these different ways to approach it. And honestly, I think there is a number of ways we can approach processes that traditionally, we're not always thinking of. A lot of times when we think about processes, we're thinking about, okay, here's how something is made and it goes through. I'm in the Metro Detroit area, so we think manufacturing all the time. So think of those processes. But there are a lot of ways to approach those processes. If just nothing else, thinking about, okay, how do I deliver? If I'm a photographer, if I'm a writer, how do I deliver that final project? Is there a better way that customers will experience it better? I like to use Photo Shelter for photographs. That's a great way to do it. There are other platforms that are out there too. But I also, when it comes to the digital side, the digital marketing side, I found that if I am in front of, even if it's a customer on the other side of the planet, if I'm using Zoom, which is a really great platform to record, so use Zoom or to interface to people live. I use Zoom, or I meet with people in person. And by doing that, I've improved the retention. And again, we have that awareness, traffic, conversions, and retention as our 4 marketing elements. And retention is huge. And so I've improved the process of connecting with people to improve my retention. So when we improve these processes and make it better for us internally, as well as the customer on the outside, we can increase the value. And when we increase our value, when people feel they're getting an extremely high value from what we are offering, they're going to refer us a lot easier. Now, obviously, if we don't add any value and if they feel totally ripped off, guess what? They're going to share that too. And that doesn't help us one bit. And thank you, Google reviews and Yelp reviews and all those other reviews that, sometimes we find in a bad place. So I think that, thinking about those processes and improving. And I talk about only 3 at a time because I think continuously improving 3 at a time is a good way to go. Sometimes it's only 1 at a time, but I start with 3. You may have 10 processes, but just start working on 3 or so at a time to be mindful. And then once you have those down, it's like, there's not much more I can do with this process. There's not much more I can do to improve what I'm doing. Well, then I'll move on to the next process and continuously improve that. So value is a word that I think that people think of as price. Value is something that I think people don't always truly understand, but I do think it's something that I really will continue to use as an umbrella with this. As I develop all this stuff and have been over the last number of years, there's this evolution and this new umbrella to help support. And I have umbrellas on top of umbrellas of what we create because there's so many elements. But ultimately, I had to think, okay, I talk about the USC unique success combination, the combination to help you grow your business. What is that best combination? Being mindful of doing that. So what? Why? And that's where I have to ask myself, okay, so you can sell more, right? So you can grow your business, but it can increase your value in the marketplace. And if I just say, okay, increases your value in the marketplace, it makes you more money. Oh, there we go. But increasing your value in the marketplace is why you can do that. Because again, when you understand the combination code of separating yourself from the competition by combining things, that's the root. When you understand that and be mindful of all that, it really can make a big difference because you're always making adjustments. You're always testing new things. And I really wish, and it does pain me, to not be able to say, well, here are the 6 things that you need to have perfectly. You do these 6 things exactly this way, and you go make a living as a writer, as a photographer, as a designer, web designer, whatever it may be. Maybe you're a woodworker, potter, a creative of some sort. And if I said, these are the things you'll do and you will succeed, it's different for everyone. That's why I have to offer these guidelines and platforms and general rules. The rules on the marketing, the 4 areas that we just talked about, the code, the 4 elements of the code, the 7-5-3-1, and just being mindful of it, that you have to address those things because sometimes we don't. Sometimes we forget to. Sometimes we don't know where to start. And that's why one thing I think I find so valuable with this is that when I get stuck, and I get stuck too, I look at these elements and I can review my business. Am I lacking in a specific area? Am I just the same as everyone else and not offering anything better? Sometimes I have to take a really hard look at that. And I think we all do. And if we're doing exactly what we were doing 10 years ago and wondering why it's not working, that's why it's not working. I've had to face that in some types of my photography. I've had to do that. I've changed a lot quicker in the digital marketing, a lot quicker because you have to stay relevant. I stay pretty ahead of that because that's half my job. But you have to do the same thing too. If you're going to continue to add value in an ever crowded marketplace. But if you have a smaller audience because there's a smaller group of people that need specifically what you've created, the competition is much lower and you can get to them a lot easier. The noise is lowered because you have something of high value specifically to a smaller group of people. And the great thing about it, especially when it comes with social media, is that we have the world at our fingertips and we can find the right people couple in, Miami, and 2 in Dallas, and 1 in Idaho, and 6 in New York City. And you just keep building. And next thing you know, you have a community of people who hire you because of you, because you've built high value in a brand that they appreciate. And that's what you have to do. You have to build that brand to add that value. And these are the structures that we are continuously building to support you. All right. So if there are any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you are coming in the second time around or on the replay, please do put a comment there and continue to connect with me. But the place to connect moving forward on a regular basis, not that I'm not answering people elsewhere, but is the Rosh group, is the Facebook group. It's going to take time to build, but I am there. And hey, if there are fewer people there right now, good. But I am advertising it a little bit to see how that works. I'm just curious. So I've been advertising it to see how advertising groups. There's a lot of interesting things that are happening in groups. And the one I selected, you have a lot of options in the way you can set up your groups. And one of them is social education. And I selected that one because it allows you to create modules. And those modules will help kind of focus in on the different areas. So I can create a module. I've created a few modules that, like one on marketing and SEO, social media, but I can have a module, everything related to the 7, everything related to 5, 3, and the 1, right? So everything on channel building is 1, and I can just have a channel building module. So everything that's been put into that group that I think is valuable to people who are interested in channel building, they can actually go through that. It's called a unit. And everybody who wants those 4 areas of marketing, again, awareness, traffic, conversions, retention, anything as we build this out, and I keep adding. So I will have this podcast in that group. I will have my new videos in that group. I'll have my new writings all in that group. That will be the central location moving forward. I've been planning this for quite a while, but now I finally pulled the trigger as of today. So I hope we find ourselves in a good community that supports creative businesses to grow our businesses. I think that's just super important. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to those of you who have stopped by and said hello. And I will talk with you next Monday, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I do appreciate you all being here. Thanks, Shay. Thank you, Mark, who also said hello earlier. And we'll talk to you next Monday.